Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Cowley. Welcome back to Helldivers 2. Uh, today, I can't stop saying that. But today we are talking about the update that just came out. To shorten it, or you know what, I'll just say the whole thing is version 01.000.300. And what you're watching in the background is some pre-recorded footage for background as we kind of go over the patch notes to see a lot of the big changes. We've seen big changes in every aspect. We've seen changes for the primary weapons, secondary weapons, special weapons, stratagems, and the enemies. So without further ado, let's begin. I will leave a link to where you can find the patch notes. So the first thing that we have is something that we already had heard a lot about already, and that fire damage was going to be reduced, and it has been by 15%. And playing against the Terminids, you definitely can feel that. Today I was using the flamethrower, and I was feeling the flamethrower was doing a little less damage to even the smaller enemies. However, you can still kill on difficulty 7. I found, I don't know about higher difficulties, but with not even a full canister of a flamethrower, you can still take down a charger at full health. So you're still good there. It's just it might take a little longer to clear out hordes as when you could just wipe them completely out. So next up, we're going with the weapons. First things first, the Khazar cannon. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Finally, it's received, or I shouldn't say finally, but it's no surprise it has received a nerf because of just how much people use it. In every game you definitely see at least 2 people in a 4-man stack have it. So it's been nerfed to have a 5-second cooldown. Now, in my personal opinion, I think a 5-second increase is a little much. I was using it, and I felt like it took too long, in my opinion, to wait for it to recharge. Now, I get that they want to balance it out so that there is no meta, but I would have. I mean, what do I know, right? I'm not at the studio, but maybe like a 3-second increase would have sufficed. I think 5 seconds is a little much. I think maybe some people who like the Khazar cannon will agree, but I know a large part of the community is so sick of people using them. So who knows what will happen? People will adjust, depending. It's just I fear for the hot planets. So like, what is that going to be? Is that going to be double, where it's going to be like 10 seconds? Then you're just never going to see it. So we'll see what happens there. Actually, on top of that, next part of my notes, since that Quasar Cannon's cooldown has been increased, I think we might see an increase in the laser cannon. It's like a bit weaker version of it. However, it did get a slight damage increase. So we might see more of people using the laser cannon than the Quasar cannon. So our first primary, the sickle, the second laser gun you more than likely have unlocked, or third, has gotten a nerf. It used to hold 6 magazine, or 6, whatever you want to call them, cartridges, but that has been reduced to 3. Now that hurts. That does hurt. But I get it. 6 was quite a lot. I felt like I never had to really. I never really felt like I was out of ammo for that. I never felt like I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be at 0. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And with that being said, we have that kind of same thing with the Quasar and the laser cannon situation. I think more people will switch to the Scythe, which is the first laser gun you can get, that you more than likely have gotten. which is the automatic laser gun, because that has gotten a 50 damage increase. 50 point damage increase. Now that's pretty huge. So it'll be exciting to see how that works against Devastators, because the sickle has like next to no recoil, and so you could just take out devs in a few shots. So it's exciting to see how this kind of transitions. I don't know. So the railgun has finally been given a buff. It's honestly some people. I know there's a part of the community that enjoys the railgun, but and especially newer players, they see it and they're like, oh, okay, that might be cooler. But unfortunately, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, that the railgun is not particularly a very good gun against Terminids and the automatons. But it has gotten a buff to do more stagger. However, it's not that significant. So you have an increase in stagger, which is okay, cool, but you don't have an increase in damage, which I think it needed, or some sort of more better, I don't know, a it still feels like it's a waste of a slot, a stratagem slot. You're better off bringing something with high penetration, like you're better off bringing the quasar cannon or literally anything else that can tear through armor. The heavy machine gun, the one of the newer weapons in the stratagems, got a crosshair when you enter third person to tell where you're shooting. Prior to this, you could not really see where you're shooting. As you can see on my screen, I'm holding a shotgun and I can see where the shots will go. When you're holding the heavy machine gun, you can't see that until this update. And so I think we might see more people using the heavy machine gun now that they can actually see where they're shooting. Sniper players who enjoy the sniping of this game, I know they're out there. They're going to be quite happy. A lot of sniper buffs. The Diligence Counter, which is the medium armor penetrating sniper, got a 12 damage increase, and the lower one got a 13 damage increase. The regular counter, or sorry, no, just the regular Diligence. Next up, we have the Redeemer, which is the SMG secondary that you can get. It received a nerf where it has an increase in its recoil. Now, here's the thing. After getting the revolver and the grenade pistol, I practically never use the Redeemer, because they're just better. But the Redeemer has, because it's an SMG, it doesn't have the best damage, but because it had like virtually no recoil while you were aiming, it was pretty good if you could hit your shots. But now that it has that increase in recoil, I see people kind of wanting to get away from it. Fresh new players will be able to enjoy the Peacemaker, the very first pistol that is given to you, more. This is also how I think people will enjoy it more than the Redeemer, because the Peacemaker has received a 15-point damage increase. So now it's not complete garbage anymore. Senator players will be very happy to see that what I call it the Big Iron. That's gotten a 25 damage increase. Plus, on top of that, when you don't have any bullets left in the cartridge, there is a new thing called the Speed Reloader, which, as it sounds, speeds up your reload. So you'll still have kind of a slower reload if you still have bullets in it. But if you have no bullets in it, you do a faster reload. So you're better off just shooting everything if you have like 2 shots left. The dagger has gotten a much needed 50 damage buff. I've still yet to try it, but I want to experiment with it further down. This is the laser pistol. It shoots an automatic laser beam, kind of like the first laser gun we talked about. I forget what it's called already. And like the laser cannon. I remember when I unlocked it, I tried it once, even against the automatons, and I felt as if I was shooting the equivalent, like a laser Nerf gun. I felt like I was doing nothing. So when you have options like the grenade pistol and the revolver, you may as well just go with those. But now that it's gotten a 50 damage increase, I definitely want to possibly give it a try again. But with the grenade pistol, until they nerf that, I pretty much don't see myself personally going with any other secondary. So the guard dog that has the AR, not the laser guard dog, just the one with the AR on it, has received a 30% damage increase, which is really good. Really nice to see that, because in my experience when I was in the lower ranks, currently I'm level 88. In my probably before level 40, myself and randoms friends would use the AR guard dog, but then as you got kind of in the higher levels and you started going against automatons, you saw the laser guard dog more. But now that we have seen that increase, that 30% damage increase, we should see that guard dog kind of get brought in more to games. Lastly, for weapons, the brand new airburst launcher has gotten its much needed nerfs. I was playing the game. I pretty much play the game every day now, but basically every time you shot the launcher, you definitely were killing minimum 1 to 2 teammates, and it was kind of hard to tell when it was going to explode. I had an instance where I had the shield generator relay. I had it thrown down, and I didn't clip it. I don't know why, because I should have shown it. But I was in the shield generator relay. I shot the airburst launcher, and it exploded within the shield, killing my entire team. Because the airburst launcher would explode. Its shot would explode near stratagems. So one of its nerfs, it will no longer detonate while it's near a stratagem. Now, I don't know about the shield generator relay. I haven't tried that yet. And also, it will not detonate when it's near other Helldivers. And it's also reduced its proximity radius. So now we're on to stratagems. Machine gun turret. In my opinion, the weaker version of the Gatling turret, which this now makes sense, got it buffed to its health. Apparently, it wasn't matching other sentries, but so now it has the same health as other sentries. I'm not sure if players with experience are going to start using it more, because I need to read up on its description, but I forget if it doesn't shoot if it sees a Helldiver, because the Gatling gun just doesn't care, but it's better. You may as well just use the Gatling gun and an autocannon or rocket. Okay, so next up's the Tesla Tower. It's gotten a 33% increase to its health, which is nice for people who use the Tesla Tower. Personally, I wish we saw possibly a bit of a nerf to its damage to Helldivers, or the radius at which it hits Helldivers. Because I've had a lot of experiences where people who bring the Tesla Towers, I don't even see it, and it feels like I'm like 500 feet away and I'm just zapped by it and instantly killed. So you know what? I'm happy that at the Helldiver side gets a buff, but it would be nice to see it kind of accommodate. But I guess you need that because that's just kind of part of what this game's charm is. So that's most of the important stratagem patch notes. Now we're going to go into enemies. This is the meat of everything. This is actually the biggest part of it. Thankfully, Arrowhead has truly heard the community and has made huge changes. So the bile spewers / the nursing spewers have their movement slightly reduced. So in my experience, I don't know about others' experiences, but it would always feel like the spewers would be able to kind of catch up with you very quickly. If you were running away, they could just like catch up to you, and then even in heavy armor, they could just one burst you with the puke. So now they take a little bit more to catch up. It's not a huge change, as they state in the patch note. It's only a slight reduce, but it is noticeable enough to where you're not dying so quickly. Next up is the Hulks on the automaton side require a little bit more stun, or a little bit more kind of, I guess, damage to kind of stun them. So originally you could pretty much just shoot a shot of an autocannon and the Hulk would kind of just stagger and be like, oh, what's happening? Now that's not so much the case. The autocannon is still a viable strat when going against the Hulk's weak point, the eye, but personally, I don't use it that much. I use the recoilless rifle more, so I'll probably keep sticking with that. I have played a few games lately where I have brought the autocannon, so I guess we'll see more than, I don't know. Well, personally, quick little side note, I'm on the major order right now with everybody currently, where the termicide is not working, which actually I should get into after this kind of a brief update. So top of the fire nerf, thankfully the Scorcher Hulks, which are, for those who don't know, the Hulks, they have a flamethrower. They have had their flamethrower damage reduced by 20%, which is huge because it felt like if you were not running the shield backpack, you were just dead. That was it. Next up, Devastators. I don't know if this is to all Devastators or specifically the regular Devastator that just has nothing on him. Their rate of fire has been buffed, which is like, it can go either two ways. And I don't know which way it really is, because I haven't played against the automatons since the new major order. If it's just the regular Devastators, not the ones with the shield, the rocket devs, then okay, that makes them more equal, so that, you can't just run through them pretty much. But if it's all of them, that's going to be kind of bullshit. But it just says Devastators. It doesn't say rocket Devastators, or I forget what the shield ones are called. Heavy Devastators, I think. Scout Striders, the things that look like ATSTs. they are now less prone to explosives. This makes a lot of sense because personally, my way of dealing with the Scout Striders is just to take my grenade pistol and pretty much shoot at their feet or their weakness, which is their kind of like hip joints. And they pretty much they can go down in one shot or they can go down in three. Depends like how you hit them. So since they're not as prone, you might have to it might make it so that it motivates the Helldiver to get behind the Scout Strider. So we have the biggest thing, the thing that I complained about a few days and got 2.2 thousand views on. Thank you for that. I'm very happy about that. I did not think that was a shit post. That wasn't even a just real quick, like that was a joke of a video. I was just really upset and I just wanted to post about my skill issues and it got over 2,000 views and I really did not think it was going to do that. But thank you. So Arrowhead must have saw my video because Arrowhead has lowered the cap at how many gunships can be spawned at a time. So finally, we won't get absolutely fucked by gunships. Now, I have the very last thing in the patch notes that I think is significant that we should talk about. So, Helldivers has had this part of the community that's done kind of stealth, where they go into Helldive and they do their best to do things stealthy. And it's nearly impossible to not get spotted at least once in this, because the game is constantly promoting a high octane action game. But a lot of people on YouTube I see do it, and it's really cool to watch. So, unfortunately, players who enjoy the stealth of this game are going to be kind of in for a a saddened surprise as patrols, your patrols that you see out just in the wild, have increased, and it scales with the fewer numbers of players. So the biggest noticeable difference is when you're playing solo. If nobody is in your lobby except for you, obviously, you will have way more patrols patrolling the area instead of one or two looking for you. You might have 4 or 5, which, good luck to you, buddy. And yeah, that's all there is for most of the important patch notes. There's some other stuff. There's some other stuff regarding like the crossbow. There's a lot of they fixed a lot of gameplay. I should mention that they fixed a lot of UI bugs, just some general bugs. And there's a whole list that you can take a look at. But it's very happy to see Arrowhead making some huge changes. Some personally I don't agree with, but you know what? It's not my game. And but some of the community will enjoy some of the changes. I haven't had to adapt really too much. I'm still enjoying. Currently, we have a major order to take over 3 planets, I think, because the Termicide has stopped working because the Terminids have mutated to where they are resilient to it. It's kind of like a virus or bacteria that has mutated to resist pharmaceutical drugs. So yeah, we're there. We're doing. You'll mostly get missions now. They added back the mission where you have to turn off the silos and shoot mutated eggs. And you'll always get one of those. You'll get rather a search and destroy or a eradicate, and then on top of that, you're more than likely going to get a destroy eggs mission. Yeah, that's all for me. If you did enjoy, that's all there. I'm gonna actually do the outro correctly. That's all the time I have for today. If you did enjoy, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe if you're new. We'll see everybody later. Let me know what you think of these changes. Bye bye.